Hello guys and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel. My name is Marty and today we are finally here, the finale of season 1 of Severance. Episode 9, the We Are, and I can't wait to get into this. If you want to see the full uncut reaction to this, you can see it over on the Patreon page or as a YouTube member as well. And don't forget, I will be watching season 2. We've got Dylan just flicking over the switches, so as soon as we come into this episode, it's going to be Mark right next to Mrs. Selvig. We've got Helly, I think, is dancing somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where Helly is. And then we've got Irving also painting that to do with the Lumon building itself. And also the Lumon building, speaking of that, said, "Welcome friends of Lumon." I want to know why. Have they done it for a reason? Have they tried to make themselves look more appealing? I don't know. We'll find out in this episode anyway. So without further ado, this is episode 9, the finale of season 1 of Severance, the We Are. Oh, this is different because everything's merging together.
What?
I said, are you all right?
Oh, we even got the Zolly thing
It's an
for this.
important decision.
My sister.
Mark, you sure you're okay?
I got a little woozy.
Is he realizing it's Mrs. Cobell?
Stop by the bathroom.
I think it's the other way.
Did he not think that was strange that it's Miss Cobell?
Right.
Yeah, this is all new to him. They're probably going to think he's drunk. Oh yeah, has he not seen this hallway? Presumably he has, though. That's why he's painting it. Unless he's somehow seeing a prophecy, but... Oh my god, how many has he done?
How many of those have you had?
Just this one.
Good. We need you nimble. We gotta get down there. You're on in 20.
I was on with the board earlier.
Gabby.
Wait,
Natalie, hello. Hi.
hence the welcome friends for Lumon. I was going to say, that's the lady from the board.
So good to finally meet you.
And it's her AD.
Likewise.
Oh no. And she's like, what am I doing mingling with these outside of work? I'm thinking the same. So when, earlier they said, oh, it's going to be such a pleasure having you here. This was in one of the earlier episodes, and they said, it's going to be such a pleasure having you here or something, Trebell.
When we heard you were coming here, it was like a miracle. It's amazing what you're doing.
And there was me assuming that she was just an ordinary member of the public. Maybe she's not, and she's actually something to do, from what it seems, she's like a plant or something from higher management, maybe? Sorry, there's a lot of talking, but the titles are on anyway, so that's such a revelation, though, that she talks to people on the outside, on the other side. And I want to know why. Oh my god, does he have to hold it the entire time? I didn't think he had to. I thought you could just leave it.
This better be working.
I feel like Mark's got the most stressful one. Will he see the picture behind him above the toilet of the brother-in-law because of the UUR book?
Mark, you okay, milady?
So Rebecca smells weird. She was making chewing noises, but she was not chewing. Just
Tell. Oh, if only you knew you didn't know it was your sister. Find out it's your sister and tell her something.
How's our baby?
No, stop.
I'm gonna assume you mean that in the it takes a village sense, and she's good. I wanna have the life change talk. I just need a pump.
Well, that was awkward. Yeah, he wouldn't know it was his sister. Talk to people, find out info. Although he skipped every picture of the brother-in-law. Oh, he won't know what a dog is either, will he? I don't know what level of intelligence they've got. This was in the podcast. They said they gave them like a level of intelligence that they would know certain things. Radar! I think it said that your auntie loves radar or
Might
something.
have been a wiser move for your sister to put off introducing the child until after tonight's event.
Your sister.
That's my sister with the baby?
Exactly. It's that was awkward.
Cobell is here.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for acknowledging
Share
that.
my book with you.
Rebecca.
Rebecca, I have some sores on the back of my head from my birth.
Okay.
So life change. What's happening?
This is gonna sound weird. We're close, you and I.
What's going on?
Can we talk privately? Just have
Hey, my dearest ones.
Okay, let's talk at the first reflection break.
No. Oh no, but he's going to know the... I said, in the last episode, I said that he's going to know the book when he starts reading it, because it's a reading of it. So he's got medals. Hello. I like that.
Kids are going to change your life. They do.
How many kids do you have?
Just gave birth to my third.
Angelo, great to see you.
That's the guy from the retreat.
Angelo Arquette.
And that's the lady I didn't even think.
You okay?
She couldn't find the bottle. Couldn't have done it without a little help. The idea that people would want to outlaw Severance.
And they should do. It's insane.
The photo display is very moving. I already knew how I'd be voting. Well, seeing that and seeing you and hearing what you have to say, all of this could really make a difference.
It's like, yeah, what I have to say, of course.
Let's change some minds.
Well, I'm certainly gonna try.
Thank your father if you see him.
Who's her father? Is her father someone we know from the show so far?
Find my glasses.
He's gonna see the book. The prophecy is here. It's him.
I would like to thank first and foremost family.
Family.
I dedicate the reading to my firstborn daughter, who's Eleanor. I love you.
My brother-in-law.
Piecing it together, sir.
Said that as a child, Wolfgang Mozart killed another boy by slamming his head in a piano. My research for this book has proven the claim untrue.
Can I look at her
Referred to
book too?
as-
I can crane.
You're a reader.
It's even weirder for him because it's her.
But what indeed is you?
Both in Indiana now too.
Who are you?
What? She's written a whole book. I was gonna say maybe would that be Keir? Also, he wants to find out so much info about himself, I know. Shouldn't he be finding someone to talk to? I know he's just really curious. Uniform? Yeah. Oh, it's his dad. Him finding out that he had a dad, but he's not here anymore.
All creatures think of themselves as you, a logical center for the universe. Yet the cat eats the shrew, and we live on to wonder what it means.
The cat eating the shrew. Don't know, I'm thinking of Miss Cobell and Mark. She's like a cat waiting to pounce.
Give me a couple minutes and meet me in the baby room.
Okay.
No, but if you get talking to him, he's a nice guy, but he will talk your ear off.
I don't know why my voice shakes like that. I sound like a sad old hamburger waiter.
Nerves.
Book is brilliant.
You don't have to say that. I'm well aware of how I come across to you.
No, he's read it.
I mean it. Your book, it opened up the world for me.
Ah, and he said, I've never read it.
This book changed my whole life.
You actually read it.
Every word.
Are we friends?
I know I sometimes make you feel less than for having had the procedure, and I regret that.
Tell him.
Deal with Gemma's passing in the way that was best for you.
Oh no.
Scrolling through old pictures this morning, and I found one of the four of us on the crest.
No, because if you show him the picture.
Bunny bees.
Do you have that on you? Picture?
Oh no! He'll realize it's Miss Casey.
I reckon the neti pot is warm.
Mark, I need to flush my sinuses. You have no idea how much this has meant to me.
Okay, I suppose it's a good thing he didn't show him the picture.
I was worried about you.
Just going to check on my sister.
When you hugged me before, you suddenly became tense. What was that?
Oh, I didn't know I did.
You're tense now.
Sorry, it's just parties.
Has she sensed it?
Did you mean what you said before about your plans?
Of course.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Oh no, she knows, doesn't she?
On uncle duty for my sister. Oh, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Miss Cobell.
No! Shh! I've never wanted to swear so much. Ah, no! No! Now she knows for sure, because I'm dying inside. Just the look of absolute anger in her face as well when as soon as he said, "Thanks, Mr. Cobell."
Just meet me in there, okay?
Okay.
Miss Cobell could come in at any second.
Oh, thank God, Mrs. Selvig.
Oh.
Can you take her for a quick second?
Of course, love.
Thank you, you're an angel.
Oh no. Don't leave your baby with her, please.
Okay.
I'm the other Mark.
So one of the things you learn growing up as an Egan is that the workers are our family. Literal brothers and sisters scattered around the world.
She's an Egan.
But as I grew older, I learned that it's not easy to do. My dad would love for me that I'm taking this job out of loyalty. Here, Egan.
Keir's surname is Egan.
I think it brings us together.
So she's like the poster girl for Severance. Oh my god, no, she's got the baby as well, I think.
Greetings. I'm not here right now.
I'm in wheelchair.
Was that his dad? 7 employee, 2 brothers? What? Was that saying that he's got a brother? Bert Goodman. Oh, people that he knows. So friends of, yeah, gotta find someone he knows. Sorry, I saw 2 brothers, by the way, and I just assumed that the other guy that he found was like another brother or something, but... Oh, Bert! He does know him on the outside. Oh my god, imagine that though. Realise after all this time that he's actually your brother, if that was to be the case. Oh, I love that. Great shot without the camera there.
She's in here, sir.
Her dad is...
Helena, you look so nice. Are you still in pain?
Oh.
Not anymore.
I'd say he cares about her, but at the same time, he let her go through Severance, so...
I cried in my bed when they told me what she tried to do to you. What that innie tried to do.
Yes. Forget this is...
Thank you for going through with it. The grandfather would cherish what you've done. And one day, you will sit with me at my revolving. Are you feeling well?
Yeah, I think the drink just hit me a little bit.
You'll be all right for the speech.
Is he blind?
Do you remember when I brought home the first chip to show you?
Sorry, his eye line was slightly off, so I wasn't sure.
It had the blue and green lights back then. I remember you said to me, "It's so pretty, Daddy. Everybody in the whole world should get one." They will. Because of you, they'll all be Kier's children.
She's the one that made the whole thing, and she's the one that wants to do the downfall of it, because it's like her inner self coming out, screaming no. Ah, she must feel so sick.
Forgive me for the harm I have caused this world. None may atone for my actions, but me.
She's saying the lines that she did 1,000 times. Those.
And only in me shall their stain live on. All I can be is sorry, and that is all I am.
So many revelations in this. Well, at least on her part. Oh, he's not going to know how to drive a car, is he, either? I don't think. I don't feel like that's something that would pass over. Watch the road. Oh.
So insane.
They need to send people down to check every inch of that place, like inspectors or whatever.
Out here, you have been trying to figure out what Lumon does, what you do.
Yeah, because none of them know.
I just want to know why he put me in there.
Because of Gemma.
He lost his wife. You lost your wife a little before you started at Lumon.
Gemma.
It was a car accident. You tried to keep teaching.
I was a teacher?
A professor of history. You tried to go back to teaching. It was a disaster. She was just still in your veins, making everything hurt, which is why I guess you thought a severed job would... He hoped you'd be spared from the pain.
It's a nice name, Gemma.
You wait until you see who she is.
We were all really close. It was great. She was wonderful. She made you wonderful.
They're going to go ballistic when they find out that Miss Cobell has the sister's baby. Oh, I'm tearing up. If they don't hurry up, he's going to have a crash if they switch back. Uh-oh. Was that the baby's voice? I think I heard.
They told me not to talk to you.
The god OTC's been triggered. Mark S is a fucking idiot.
That's not possible.
Oh no, it's possible.
Plotting this all along.
Ellie's at the gala.
I'll fix it like I fix everything. Get to the security office and shut it off now.
Maybe he won't want to. No, I think he does. Oh god, and it's Dylan as well. Yes, for the camera work. This guy's a force to be reckoned with.
Dylan! Dylan! F*** you, Mr. Milkshake!
Yes, come on, Dylan. Keep it.
Rickon knows a lot of high-end journalists in New York.
And you think that's better than the police?
Lumon has their hands in so many pies.
Yeah.
We have to be really careful about who we talk to. How much time do you have?
Maybe an hour?
Because once your bosses find out.
Not even that.
I totally forgot. Why is Cobell here?
What?
This is Selvig.
From Lumon, Ms. Cobell, she's at this party. She's dressed different. Purple outfit, silver hair.
Mark, are you talking about Mrs. Selvig?
My midwife?
Her name is Harmony Cobell.
And she works at Lumon?
Yeah, she's my boss.
Jesus f***ing Christ.
She's got the baby. What a finale. I'm also loving the power walk that Ellie's got going on.
Dylan, why are you doing this, man?
Come on, you are the refiner of the quarter.
This is like The Shining. Here's Johnny.
Is she there?
Mrs. Selvig, she has Eleanor.
Oh my God, her car's gone. I gave her the baby and she left.
And he won't know.
With Eleanor?
Yep.
Let's go inside and look.
Although I've noticed a few times really good work by the camera operators, because the reflections in certain windows, like earlier when he was talking to the brother-in-law, there was no camera operator in the window, so they've done really good work matte painting out the operator in the window. So good work to the effects team, obviously.
I bet the tempers were disappointed. I can still get you back in there.
And also good work from the operators.
What perk you want, Dylan? There's stuff you don't even know about. There's paintball. There's coffee cozies. Just say the word and I'll get you a coffee cozy. Literally.
He doesn't want any.
I want to remember my
son
being born! You have two others.
What?
I can tell you about them. Open the door and I'll tell you their names.
I feel like you're using that against him. I don't think he has. Oh, apparently, well, this building, by the way, has never been used for filming before this show. Ever. It's such a unique building as well. The style of the layout of the car park and stuff. They even gonna allow her back in the building? Oh, no, is the baby in there as well?
Just stick to the talking points. Use the line about how you see your innie as your sister. They'll love that.
Got it.
Wow.
It's gonna be great.
Oh, she's gonna give the most bitter speech. There he is. He's not gonna know him though. Well, he's gonna know him from the outside, but... Oh no. Oh, bless him, he's heartbroken.
These rooms been checked.
Oh.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
She's here. I found her.
She's left her.
I'm the one who found her.
Wait, no, he found her. Mark found her, technically. Guy's screaming, oh, I'm the one that found her.
Dylan?
Oh, is he going to see a picture of Gemma?
There have been setbacks, but I'm here tonight to tell you that
Quickly, by the way, that lady that's talking now, she's the bald lady, the one that...
human being.
Mrs. Selvig.
Is it you?
Oh.
What are you talking about? It is you, isn't it? I'm gonna tell your company.
Yes.
Your company? You think you are? No, your friends are gonna suffer. You'll be long gone, but we will keep them alive in pain.
No.
I've seen a severance chip, and it's like, why don't we hear from someone who can tell us?
They're going to click back, aren't they?
Our guest of honor, Helena Egan.
Oh. Yeah. Oh no. Bless Mark, he's realizing, wait, my wife did not die. Please tell someone.
My name is Helly.
Please.
I'm an innie.
No.
And everything they told you about Severance is a lie.
Yes. Come on, Helly.
We're not happy. We're miserable.
Oh.
They torture us down there.
No. No.
We're prisoners.
Please say. Please say. No. 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 That's where you end. That's where you end the series. What the flip? That's where you end the series? The season 1? Oh my god. No wonder people have been going absolutely nuts with... So I found out, by the way, I completely forgot to find out in the last episode. It's been 3 years since this episode, well, came out and, since season 1 ended. And now season 2 is out. So you guys must have been going absolutely nuts, wanting to know, like, if you knew that season 2 was coming at some point. I remember them saying that they were kind of piecing together little bits and they were trying to work out the storyline as they were going with season 1 and working out what was going to be like put into place for the ending. Not so much the ending at first, but other things like piecing together things. Beautiful writing. It really is some incredible writing. And then they have that as the entire time. I was not expecting it to be Helly that was related to Keir. I thought it was Miss Cobell or Selvig, and I thought she'd taken the baby as well. There were so many things in that I was just, you could see me, I was just screaming, going, come on! The bit at the end, I'm really hoping that they realised I'm sure she would have realised, because I think he had hold of Gemma's photo, so he could say she's alive, and she would know he's the innie. Wait, he only knows that world. She must be there in the building, alive. How would he know otherwise about that's her? And, well, I know he's, holding her as if they're in a married photo. I understand that. But he, would see the picture and go, oh my God, I know her. So many things in that, yes, almost everything has been not so much answered, but it's really nicely packaged into that finale episode. I'm so glad that Helly said as much as she said. My heart goes out to Irving, who's still banging on the door. Then you've got Mark shouting she's alive, and then you got Dylan being tackled. So, oh my God, so much in there. And now also Mrs. Selvig has been outed as Miss Cobell. So now everybody, well, at least Devon, knows that Mrs. Selvig isn't Mrs. Selvig, and she's actually just Miss Cobell. But now also the guy who wrote the book, Devon's other half, Devon's husband, is going to know about this whole thing just from Devon, and I'm so glad that Devon knows. And then we've got Helly managed to tell people what was going on the inside, but I don't know whether they'll believe her or whether they'll think that she's a bit mad. I'm kind of glad that I don't have to wait the 3-year wait that you guys have had, and I'm so sorry that you've had to wait it. I can't believe it's been 3 years. You guys must have been going nuts at seeing that and not having any answer. It's such a good wrap up to it. Again, it reminds me of when I saw Life on Mars and Ashes to Ashes, the kind of the big endings that we would get, and then it's like, what? Especially the ending of Ashes to Ashes. I mean, yes, they were going to do another series and they never did it in the end. They decided not to, but it wrapped up really nicely with Ashes to Ashes. But still, anyway, this series, phenomenal. I honestly, I just want to jump into season 2 now. I'm going to let myself kind of ruminate in what's going on and everything that happened in that episode. It was just one beat to the next. You're just tense. You just know, wait, he's come into it, he's seen Miss Cobell, and it's like, I think at first for him, he was probably going, oh, okay, it's Miss Cobell. And then he's like, wait, this is my outie self. What's Miss Cobell doing here? I'm surprised he didn't go, wah, what's going on? I know he's kind of good friends with her, or, he's kind of pally with her on the inside, sort of, and he did laugh with her in, was it previous episode? Although there was the bit with him calling her Miss Cobell. My heart leapt at that bit. As soon as he said, thank you, Miss Cobell, or thanks, Miss Cobell, or whatever it was, and walked away, I just went, I just went into full panic mode. I was like, no, you've just given the game away. What are you doing? I know he didn't know what her name actually was. He just assumed that was it, and that she, that was just her name. If I was him, though, I wouldn't have said a name, because you don't know. Like, I just would have said, oh, okay, thank you. I'd just be really cautious about stuff, because you never know. And I know he wouldn't have thought that kind of thing anyway. And then also, Miss Cobell would have realised that Helly was her innie self, because she knew who she was. Whereas if it was the other way around, she would have no idea. She would have no idea who she was, likely, unless on the outside she knows of her because she's like the boss lady, potentially, but it's highly doubtful. One thing I cannot wait to hear is the finale podcast for season 1. I want to find out some juicy gossip, some juicy bits of info about this episode and about the wrap up of season 1 and their thoughts, and then if they talk anything about, the lead into season 2, etc., or if they do all of that in season 2's episode 1 for the podcast itself. I mean, you saw my energy for that episode was just through the roof. I loved it. So good. What are your thoughts? Please let me know. I'd love to hear it. And what were your thoughts at the time? Did you watch it when it first came out, the series? And did you shout at your screen all the bits I did? Did you wonder, wait, what, Miss Cobell's got the baby? Did you, scream when he shouted Miss Cobell's name? Did you jump for joy when Helly said it's all a lie? All this kind of stuff? Yes, and also that angry run that Trammell, I know he has anger for Dylan as it is anyway. There's such a passive aggressiveness there, and I know that's with everybody, not just Dylan, but he really does aim it at Dylan. And that run down the corridor was so good. Like he wasn't just running around the corners, he was literally, his feet were even pressing against the wall and the borders at the bottom of the wall and everything, and just rounding those corners off as if it was to try and save his own life. It was, I suppose it saves his own job if nobody finds out about what's going on, but still, so good. And it also explains, by the way, it explains the Friends of Lumon thing, the gala thing that was going on that Helly was at. But that's such a revelation that Helly is related to the Egans. She is an Egan and she's there on the inside. And it also explains the whole Tremel thing when he spoke to her and said about, oh, I'm so glad you're here. Explains that, and I was correct, because I said from the outset when he said that, I went, wait, I can't remember if I said, oh, was she a plant or something? I think I did. I think I said, oh, was she a plant? But I just did not expect that. She's such a different person then on the outside to the inside. Because on the outside, she's this, she's doing everything for her dad and for the company. And then on the inside, she absolutely hates all of that. Which is why I was saying, I wonder if it's the innies are almost like their inner voice, because they're what the outie isn't. If that makes sense? I don't know. Then you got Irving, who does a lot of painting. He's got that in common with Bert. And that explains his dreams with the paint, because I said it reminded me of paint. In my head, I was thinking, oh, it's because of Bert, but no. He's got these thoughts and memories or some kind of hatred or some weird thing going on. Maybe he's having nightmares about Lumon. Such a powerful episode, such a brilliantly written, directed, and shot and edited and acted, and phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Probably one of my favourite finales that I've ever seen in a show, because it just had me up jumping. I think that's all I've got to say about the episode, because if I say any more, this is going to be 1,000 hours long. So I hope you guys have really enjoyed this. Please let me know your thoughts down below if you really love this. And I hope you guys can join me also for season 2 when that comes out. This has been incredible watching season 1. Thank you for requesting it. I utterly adore this show, and it is just right up my street. And yeah, so good. Before we go, here are my thoughts from the finale episode of the podcast, the official podcast of Severance. Hello guys. I'm finally sat down and I've finally made notes on the finale episode of the podcast. And the sun is going down, the sun is setting. To be fair, the sunset was brighter earlier. In this episode, Jon Stewart is the guest. See, I don't know Jon Stewart, but I know of him. He does The Daily Show. So it's a good episode, don't get me wrong, this one. I enjoyed it for the fact that I've realised something about these episodes where they have these special guests on that aren't necessarily cast and crew, but they're super fans. In the fact that they help to extract the thoughts out from Ben Stiller, Adam Scott, or if they have another guest on. But I've noticed what it helps to do is extract questions and information out from Ben Stiller and Adam Scott about their time on the show, the filming process, certain things behind the scenes that happened, the reason why certain things. So like Jon Stewart in this asks certain questions. There's certain things he asks that they can't answer because it would spoil stuff. So they don't, but because it's about, season 2 and the reasons for some of the Gemma stuff, and he actually brings up a good thing. He says, I don't know if this is part of the law, but the whole thing with Gemma having had the accident, the car crash, is that something nefarious going on with Lumon, where they are basically creating the crash, or they're creating the accidents for people to have, so that then their loved ones or whoever it may be is so distraught and sad that they then go, okay, I'm going to push myself into doing this job and work for Lumon and sever.
You know what struck me, and I don't know if you guys have if this is in the lore or however you do it, but it was the first time that I thought, oh, Lumon is setting people up for Severance. Because his wife dying is the event that drove him to sever. So now you're thinking, oh wait, are they conducting experiments and doing shit to people to drive them to sever? Is that also being manipulated?
It's a really good point, and I think I actually made... when did I don't remember what episode I say it in, but I'm fairly sure I make the same epiphany. Like, they get this revelation, and I'm like, wait, is that the reason why they've done this? Is it on purpose? Is it to try and lure them in? So yeah, Jon Stewart is on this. He hosts The Daily Show normally, and I've not seen it. Bell Labs, by the way, the place where they film, is actually really intriguing because that's designed by Eero Saarinen, I think it's called. That's how you say his name. He designed the TWA terminal at JFK. I've seen pictures of it. I've not physically been there because I've not been to... I've been to Florida, but I've not been to anything else other than Disneyland. So, do you know what I mean? That's all I've seen is just Disney. But the place Bell Labs, where it's filmed, so Bell Labs, in case you didn't know, I did mention this, I think in the first couple of episodes. I think it might have been episode 2's talk around, because I talk about episode 1 and 2's podcast. But it's so weird because there's so many points in this that I'm going to be telling you. I am sure I have made mention of all of these. Or if not, I've already listened to, because bear in mind, I watched these episodes months ago. So, when you see my reaction, that was filmed months ago. But this podcast, I've heard this same podcast now, I must be 5, 6, however many times. The Lumon building itself is Bell Labs. And this is where I'm sure I've mentioned it in another episode. I'm fairly sure, in fact, I have mentioned it and all of the stuff I'm about to say, but it's a mixed-use space. As far as I remember, because I've seen a video or two online of people going there, because you can visit there, but it was built way back when, and then they then made additions to it in the 80s. And then when they were filming these episodes, when they got there to film at the location, they were actually building houses around the edge. Hello guys, sorry about that. It's probably a bit darker now. It's typical, I had to take a phone call, and now it's like 15 minutes later, and I've been trying to do this. You can probably hear the air outside. It's so, I've got the window open, but I've been trying to do this whilst there's still light. Bell Labs itself is a mixed use space, and there's a water tower outside. It's the one, where they've got the Lumon logo on it, the water droplet. That's shaped to look like a transistor. I remember hearing that ages ago, and that's a piece of information I'm sure I've shared before, but yeah, there's houses around the edge of the plot where the location is. So basically around the edge of the car park, there's now houses, but they remove them during the editing process. They actually digitally remove the houses.
What's that funny tower, Ben?
That's the water tower there that they built in the shape of a transistor. Because I think because that's where the transistor was developed by Bell Labs back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
They've got to make everything shape. The water tower does it have to hold water? No, it has to look like a transistor.
Yeah, I know. It's so interesting. And we've really made that one of the sort of iconic, things in the show that we put the Lumon logo on. But all of those houses, the Mussolini subdivision of houses that are built on the sides of that driveway, they built, because we've been working on the show for 5 years, right? And when we first scouted this place, those houses were just being built. They had just decided to do subdivision on either side of the driveway, which we erase in the show. So when you see the wide scenes,
right, you don't see the houses,
them, but they built them all around there as a way to, I guess, create a community. And it's a very, very interesting place. And that design and architecture, it was Eero Saarinen, the architect who designed it.
Really?
Yeah, who also did the TWA terminal at JFK, and he's a great mid-century architect. So that's his design. They expanded on it in the 80s and built on the sides a little more. But those little specific sort of touches that he has on the inside are kind of what cued us for the rest of the design of the show, because we found this it was the first location we found.
It's remarkable. And it is, and people don't know, there's an atrium there that's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's like these sides, and I guess when they were working in Bell Labs, all those sides were the offices. It's the least efficient use of space you could ever possibly imagine. It's just like, what if we just put single file offices down what appears to be 3 acres and 10 stories high of just open space?
Yeah,
indoors.
it's just a hollowed out, like 3 football fields
Yes.
that could have been offices, but instead it's just open air. It's
Right.
wild.
And they just decided to put one cafeteria space in the corner.
That's right.
That was the end of it.
And I don't think even in seeing it on screen, you don't get the size of it, the scale of it when you're there. It's so much
Giant.
bigger.
Yeah.
But
During
anyway,
COVID, so that space became during COVID a place where people went to kind of avoid each other, but still have that feeling of being around people. And then those giant parking lots, they started showing outdoor movies. And they started doing like music or comedy shows where people would sit in their cars because it's just this vast expanse.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. I've been there when they've had like carnivals in the parking lot and all sorts of things.
You could do any of those parking lots. It's the craziest thing.
In spring of 2021, when we were shooting there, and the vaccinations were just starting, there were people lined up all in that lobby getting vaccinated.
In fact, I remember a couple of people from the show got vaccinated there while we were doing the show.
Oh yeah, also, John Stewart brought up a really good point, that for the team, and I think I've made mention of this before in the past, that for the team, it must be so difficult because if their episodes are released months, if not like a year or two after they've filmed or even come up with an idea, and it must be so difficult to have ideas for episodes and then have to make the decision early on and stick with that when they don't know, because it like normal TV, you film an episode or something and then it would come out and then you'd film more and then it would come out. Whereas how they filmed Severance was kind of like what you do with the film, where you film it all and then you edit it into the show and then that then gets released as the show. I can't remember if it's been released week by week, I think it is, but it's all done as one big package. And once it's done, they then send it off. That's it. They don't have, like they can't retroactively edit throughout the time period of it being on TV. And Jon Stewart was saying it's such a strange one for them to have done it like that, because it must be strange making a choice and then building on that one choice with other choices, and you can't go back. If you make a choice, you have to stick with that choice. And was it not terrifying?
I'm also curious, Ben, and Adam, I don't know if you feel this way when you're making those kinds of acting choices, but you know, on television, especially something like The Daily Show, it's very ephemeral, and you go on one day and you'll know immediately kind of what the response is and all that. And, sort of like egg salad, you make it and 3 days later, no matter how good it was, it's already gone. But you're ensconced in this world for so long, and like you were saying, like 5 years.
Yeah.
And you're making really strong creative choices.
Yeah.
How scary is it to do that for so long without any sense of sort of like, how do you know when you've gone down a rabbit hole that's going to bear fruit? How do you know when you've made, because now you're making choices that build upon other choices, and it kind of, it goes out in these sort of concentric circles, and unveiling that must be terrifying.
Yes.
I would think.
Yes.
Adam, do you want to go?
100%.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, first of all, I totally agree, John, when you're watching something that feels like it has been wholly considered, like everything has been, it's comforting. It's something I appreciate. And honestly, as a fan, something I've always appreciated about what Ben does, whether it's Tropic Thunder or Escape at Dannemora, you feel like every detail you are looking at on that screen has been mulled over and figured out and considered, right? You are in very good hands, right?
Yeah.
I, as a viewer, that's all I'm looking for. Like, that is it. So to be in that world, and it was the same with Walter Mitty too, where you are, everything is there and ready. So you can trust completely in the world and in your director and what Ben's doing. But yeah, that was, I think it hit me later than it hit Ben, but at a certain point when it was time for the season 1 to come out, it was terrifying. And for me, it was when the billboards went up and I saw my face huge around town, and that was the first time I had experienced that. That's when I freaked out because it's just like we really took a big swing here.
Yeah,
we really like it.
The top of your head is gone. Adam, half the time.
But like, are
Somebody
people
had to say, like, I like this Adam Scott fella, but not crazy about his whole head.
We gotta take
give me
the top
3/4
half
of Scott's head.
That's right.
That was the one where we go, that's the one. That's the one.
It was just like, are people just going to make fun of it? Like, is this silly? Like, you had the same kind of moment too, right, Ben?
Well, for me, it's yes, for sure. But what happens is I go into sort of when I'm working on something, it's different because it's not like what you're doing on television where you're getting immediate feedback. You just make a commitment. If you're making a movie, it's the same thing. You make a commitment to it and you go and you work on it and then you show your first cut eventually. And that's when you're like, oh shit, I hope this works.
Right.
And you try. But on this thing, it's different because it's, 9 or 10 episodes. So it's a much longer period of time. And we were doing it during COVID, the first season. And it was literally in a bubble. The whole thing was so insulated. And it was a great creative experience that for me, I kind of like fool myself somehow when I'm working on something that I'm just in it. Like when I do a take in a movie, I'm like, well, maybe it won't be that take. Maybe it'll be the other take. So I don't have to worry about that now. And so that frees me up, I guess, just to try stuff. It wasn't until we finished the last cut of the last episode. I remember one night being at home because I was editing remotely with Jeff Richmond, our editor, and we finished. And I remember just having this thought of like, oh, wait a minute. Like, we've been doing this thing for like 2 years. I think it's good. I like it. I really like it. But like, this thing could totally just fail. Again, when we were shooting it, it was a little bit of a kind of a shot in the dark in terms of like how much we could actually get away with in terms of like stopping the tension or slowing down to like have the scene with Devin where you have to talk about who you are, where she's telling you who you are.
Sure. And you're also editing it together before you have a sense of what the audience's investment will ultimately be. In other words, television in sort of the sense that it happened before streaming, like when you think about Seinfeld or those kinds of episodes, it's all sort of happening in real time.
Yeah.
And so you're getting a sense of, it's how Urkel becomes the centerpiece of Family Matter. You're understanding what the audience is responding to, and you're adjusting, not necessarily in deference to that, but accordingly to what people are responding to. You did that in a vacuum.
Say you've got the choice of, okay, this is how we've shot this. Like in one instance, Ben Stiller said he wanted to shoot the party scenes at Devon's house in first-person camera, which uses either the heli helmet cam that you had in episode 1 or this other rig where it would just be like first-person camera, which they did use in some of the scenes. Where Mark's in the bathroom, we see him in the mirror, and then we see him go out of the bathroom, and we see Devon. That style was going to be the entire, either the entire party scenes or the entire episode itself. I think he just meant like the party scenes itself, because that would have been too much if that was the entire episode. But it would have been interesting to see it like that, because I really enjoyed that style of filmmaking from the fact that they had to be really creative when it came to doing like the mirror shots. They had to be very, I don't know if careful really, because the team behind it that does the digital removal of stuff and adds in shots removes cameras from reflections and all this kind of stuff, which I don't know if it's necessarily a removing camera from reflection or if it's filming a backplate and then replacing the background with that backplate to make it look like the camera isn't there, but it's just that they've just removed everything and then replaced the background. I'm fairly sure that's what it is. Like they add a digital background in or something. Now it's very dark, so I need to hurry this up. Either way, however they do it, it's incredible work. And it looks really good in the episode.
And I remember being very insecure about 9, thinking because also I'd always imagined it's going to be totally different visually than the rest of the show, because the show is very everything's kind of very set and like ordered, not a lot of handheld, if any, unless there's a specific thing. But for episode 9, we're going to use Steadicam the whole time, and it's going to be flowing because we want to be in the point of view of these characters. Yeah. And so that felt weird every time we'd pull out the Steadicam to shoot, because I was like, it should be in their point of view the whole time, but you can't be in their point of view the whole time because then you'll never see them. So how do you do that? And so I was constantly feeling like I hadn't quite figured it out, and was just sort of like doing whatever we could to try to tell the story, making this choice we knew that it was going to be very subjective.
I remember doing quite a bit of experimentation at those party scenes. Like, remember that rig I almost was going to wear for some of it, but it just ended up being too cumbersome?
Yeah, we had this sort of helmet cam type thing we used I think in the first episode for Helly's point of view when she's trying to get out the emergency exit, where like the helmet would have a camera on it so you could actually see her hands and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and we
like
tried
a GoPro.
That. Yeah, and
right.
So the person's walking around like kind of like a camera, robot or something, and that didn't work. And it was, I remember that's what I'm saying. Like I remember us sort of improvising and going, okay, we'll do like handheld here, we'll do Steadicam here.
And yeah, so apparently they were going to do that for a lot more of it. And it's fun, a fun little fact about the party scenes at Devon's house, just that specific one. Obviously, this is the same for every other location as well. And I think in the last episode, I made mention of that with Keir Egan's house. That's what I'm thinking of. There was a scene that I made mention of and said, whatever it was filmed at this one place, they filmed everything on the same day or within the same period of time. And I think it was the old Keir Egan house at the museum. Anyway, when they did the filming at Devon's house, the house that is Devon's, that was all shot on the first week that they filmed. All of it. Every single scene that they had in the whole of season 1 at Devon's house was shot in that same first week, over the however many days it was that they were filming there, which is crazy to think. There's so much that was filmed there, because you've got all of the stuff from like the first couple of episodes of, like the sandwich scene, and then there's the bit where there's the dinner table which doesn't have dinner at it and all that kind of stuff. All of the scenes since then, and then these episodes here with the big party scenes and that, all of that shot at the same time. And it's really funny that that's mentioned, because I do say at some point that I think it's really funny that in quite a few of the episodes, maybe I didn't mention it, I think Adam Scott looks so much different in certain parts of the show to other parts of it. And I thought it was like a stylistic choice where, especially with him being inside, it probably is a stylistic choice. When they filmed it, they probably just gave him a haircut when he did the interior stuff. And then when he did the exterior as his outie, that was without him having the haircut. But when they filmed the stuff with Mark, I kept thinking that throughout the show, at different points, he looked so much different to the other parts of the show. And it would make perfect sense because it was filmed at a completely different time, which makes sense. It's a show, they are filmed at different times. But not only is it filmed at a different time, but sometimes it's like months apart from each other. So no wonder he looks different. He's older or younger in certain parts. Yeah, but it's very noticeable with him because I feel like he's changed a lot. Like his face has changed so much over the time, Adam Scott. Maybe it's just me, but it seemed like it did. Either way, fantastic show. I love it to bits.
We shot the whole show like a movie where you'd go to like one location and shoot scenes from episode 3, 6, and 9 at Devon and Rickon's house,
Yeah.
And then we're going to go to Lumon.
Oh, that's hard for the actors too, I would imagine, because they're at different levels of investment in their characters.
Yeah.
I imagine that's difficult.
Yeah, and it's tough also just in terms of when you're thinking of a whole season, because I did that with Escape at Dannemora, I guess, but this was like, I don't know, it was bigger. And when we got to Devon and Rickon's house to shoot, which is one of the first places we shot for the season, we shot all the scenes from episode 1 and whatever other episodes were there. And then we had to go and shoot the scenes for episode 9 there. And this was like a month into the shoot.
Wow.
Or something like that. And all of a sudden, Adam is doing, his She's Alive moment. It was like so out of context.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember the way it was for episode 9 was we would have to catch scenes for this episode every time we were, like when we were at Lumon, when you came, we would just catch scenes.
Right.
We sometimes would go back and reshoot too, but overall, we were piecing this episode together piecemeal over the course of like 9 months.
Anyway, I managed to rattle through quite a few of these points all in sort of like a couple of integrated parts. So I also, fun fact, they were going to have Adam reacting. I swear this is what I've said before as well. They were going to have Adam reacting to things like the sky when he first sees the world for the first time as his innie. But they don't have that in the end. They don't include that. They don't film. I don't know if they filmed it or not, but they don't include it in the episode itself. They also wasn't sure if they had done that, whether that would have detracted from everything else and it would have just been him being in awe at the world, and would that have given him away as being his innie self in awe at everything. I do think it's better that they didn't show that.
Every second he's having to kind of take in this
recalibrating his relationships.
Yeah. And I remember we'd have that discussion for every scene. Like even when you first see Rickon reading, and then you go outside with him and we realize, oh wait, you've never been outside before. But are we going to play that or not? No,
right.
Well,
I remember trying a take where I was like reacting to the sky and stuff, and it was like, we can't, like, we just have to stay on this one track, because it became about like 6 things and it was just too much. And it was also about like reacting to the surroundings, but he also can't be found out until he says the wrong name to Cobell.
There's people at a car behind me and I think they think I'm absolutely nuts because I've just got this light on my face. Oh yeah, they also said about the line that Adam says when he says about Miss Cobell and he says the wrong name. They said they wanted that to be a big fun moment, and they're hoping that it really did come out as a big fun moment for the audience watching it. And I think it did. I really do think it did. It was one of the best moments of the episode. Kept me on the edge, and I was like, no! And they said that's the kind of reaction they wanted to that, is to have that effect.
That was the moment where, when we were shooting it, I went to Ben and Patricia and just kind of thought out loud about, if the architecture has gotten us to the right place, this moment is going to be the moment where things start to fall. This is going to be so fun for the audience when I call her Cobell, and not knowing the percentage of whether they'll be with us or not, but knowing like this will be so much fun.
The car's leaving now. You'll see it go past in a second, so they're probably thinking, what on earth is he doing? I think that's the last car that's there. So, last things to say. The security room that was done so that Zach Cherry could reach over and switch the switches, that was apparently measured for Zach. When they designed the room, they got Zach in and they made sure to get like his arm span, his wingspan, to get like the correct size so that they knew it wouldn't be too much for him. Which I think is amazing. The level of detail that went into it, that they thought, okay, this is what he needs to do in that episode. Let's get him in to measure him completely up and, design it correctly for him. Because they could have just built it and then just got Zach to go, okay, now you got to try and reach these things. And if it wasn't for the fact that you see the wide shot of him grabbing the switches, theoretically, you could just pretend that he's got hold of the switches, because you don't necessarily see the switches at all times. It's usually just you see his arms reaching to something and that's it. So you could have just had him reaching towards the walls. If he didn't reach, you could have always faked it, not shown his hands were actually touching anything, and had him, in the position. And you could have just cut away to close-ups of his hands actually on the switches. That would have worked. Sleight of hand filmmaking.
Why would you pick the character with the shortest wingspan?
That's a great question.
You got Turturro there, who's lanky as hell. I mean, he's a half pterodactyl.
Yeah.
He could have stood there, like Wembenyana, dunking. And you're in the meeting and you say, let me grab the guy. Clearly, he is going to have the hardest time bridging this gap.
100%.
Poor Dylan.
100%.
Dylan is it's the only note. And listen, I do have a Substack dedicated to this. I'd appreciate it if you guys would at least subscribe.
Honestly, I never even thought about that, other than Dylan was he really wanted to do it. He really felt like he was the man.
Yeah, he's super confident.
And I'll tell you something, when we designed that set, we literally, had Zach Cherry go into that room, to stretch his arms out so he could get the exact length for his arms.
Wow.
That's so smart.
Because he had to do that.
And I love that they were at disparate heights.
Yeah.
You would almost think like when someone goes in there to build those switches, that there'd be a sort of symmetry to it. But the idea that he had to go one up and then one down, I was just like, that's so fucking perfect.
Yeah.
It looks painful. I mean, it looks horrible.
Yeah, it definitely. Jeff Mann, who is a production designer who came on for the later part of the season, came in, and he's a guy I've worked with over the years a lot, and that was his brainchild, and he just really got that full kind of weird retro 80s-ish vibe in that room too.
Ben, you're saying Jeff Mann kind of designed the control room. Was there any Star Trek influence in the control room?
Well, I mean, there's no like literal Star Trek influence, but for me, I think everything comes back to Star Trek. It's like weirdly just like it's such a huge thing in my life that I'm so obsessed with the original series.
Also, another thing that I do think I've mentioned again previously is Ben Stiller is a huge fan of Star Trek. He always seems to have some kind of reference to Star Trek or something about Star Trek in his work, which I didn't realize. And one of the things in this that not necessarily a reference usually, but it's just like something that kind of reminds him of Star Trek and that sort of thing. And one of the things that was always in his mind with this show is the hallways. And he said that with Star Trek, and now it looks like I'm camping, it's so dark, but when he's talking about the original series, apparently the hallway sets that they used on Star Trek, bear in mind I've seen like clips of it and I've seen The Next Generation, but I've not seen the original stuff too much. Apparently, that was one hallway that they reused again and again and again. I thought it was multiple hallways, but no, it's just one hallway. I mean, I know there are various, I think in some instances, even things like the TARDIS on Doctor Who, different other sets on Doctor Who, funnily enough, I think those were utilizing one space, one hallway, one set, and they just reuse it from different points of view. And it's funny, years ago, I actually shot something where I needed to have like a set of alleyways that I need to run down on this shoot. Well, it wasn't me, it was an actor, and I was shooting this scene. And I actually filmed it in the same alleyway, and I had them, there was at the end of the alley, there was like a corner where you could turn and there was a gate. And I had them run past the camera as if they're going round the bend and basically go towards the gate. And then I would film it as if they're coming round the bend from the other end, continuing their journey sort of thing. So I made it look like it was a sort of almost a couple of alleyways next to each other. But yeah, it was the same one. So similar sort of thing. But yeah, that's what they thought of when they were coming up with the design for the hallways. Something a little bit Star Trek-y, but at the same time, how could they utilize the hallway sets that they would have to make it more than it actually was?
Even when we were making the hallways, and I'm such a Trekkie, I have the plans of what they had on stage 9 at Paramount, where they had the bridge and the hallway and sick bay and all of it,
That's
just
awesome.
Fascinating to me how there was only just one little hallway section. So Jeremy Hindle, our production designer, and I talked about that a lot when we were creating all the hallways, saying, okay, we're gonna have to reuse these a lot and we'll have to figure out ways to do that.
Also, the details in the books for each step of the process of them, switching their brains into the overtime mode, all of the steps within those books were fully written out in the books. So if they wanted to on the set, they could have just, this is how Zach Cherry was able to step by step it correctly to the correct process, is because it was all written out in the books for him. So it was so easy, and it was also easy for the film crew then, because then they could get the pickup shots of the things they needed to get just by looking at the books and making sure they get the correct shots. I'm going to turn that light on, and I'm hoping that this looks okay. So apologies if I've had really dark me for ages, but I'm turning the light on now, so stuff it. I'm sat here, I might as well just turn the light on. I should have done this a little while ago, but when there was cars behind me, I didn't really want to do it. So hopefully I can lighten it up a little bit from the stuff you've already had. But anyway, the last couple of things. Yeah, Jon Stewart said a heartbreaking thing that I hadn't really thought of. When Turturro wakes up, when his innie wakes up as his outie self, he's all alone. The other people have community around them. They have people around them that like family, or they have, so Helly has the whole party of people there, which is they're all there to celebrate her. And then Mark has his family and friends, whereas Irving doesn't have anyone. I kind of wish we had seen also Zach's life. I really do wish we had seen his life as well, because then we could have got, maybe a scene with him talking to his son. That would have been really nice to see. I'm hoping at some point in season 2 we do see something like that.
And also Turturro in the episode, he doesn't have a single line except for Bert at the end. So the whole episode is just John Turturro,
That was a heartbreaking one, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like the Turturro arc in that, Heliar is surrounded by community. Mark, as cut off as he is after his wife's death, is surrounded by community. John has a dog.
Yeah.
It's nice, but he's alone.
Yeah.
And he's got a box of memories and a dog and a love that he can't have. And it just breaks your heart. And then to know that his love is so fun to imitate.
Worldwide.
And how many times on set do you, Mom? How can you not do the Christopher Walken? But that really, to me, was so stark, is to see his life, and his paintings are dark, and that hallway where you see the light, and you just felt like so badly for his loneliness.
Yeah.
The last but not least, the last piece of info I've got is they played this clip of John Turturro's interview, and it was a piece of info that would have spoiled this episode, or it would have spoiled this scene in this episode if they had said it in his interview. So they kept it for when they talk about this episode, and it's really lovely, and I'm glad they clipped it to be able to use. So it wasn't just a story by someone else, it was John actually telling this little story of these moments. Apparently when they filmed the scene in his flat, in his apartment, they had him looking at a picture of his dad and that uniform in the trunk, didn't they? Well, in actual fact, that photo is John's real dad, and that uniform is his dad's real uniform, which I think is amazing.
When you finally come to consciousness in Irving's apartment and you find that trunk.
Right.
And we find all of this information that Irving has been amassing, and we find some little clues to Irving's past somehow.
Right.
And one of the things we see is a photograph. Do you want to talk about that?
That's the photograph of my father.
It's the photograph of your father, yeah.
Right, yeah, in the Navy. And I brought his actually uniform from World War II to the set. That's the first time and the only time I will use that.
I mean, I thought that was so special that you did that, and that moment of, okay, what does this mean? What is this history? Who is that person? It's probably Irving's father. That it's actually your father just kind of adds another layer to it.
Anyway, guys, that is all of the info from this episode. I'm really, really, really glad that I've seen season 1 of this, and I've watched 2 episodes of season 2 so far. I've rewatched episode 2 today. Still loving it. Still think it's a lot darker. The color grading is a lot darker. It's not as open. It just feels quite sort of closed off, and cinematography is a lot more sort of shallow depth of field, and there are some wide shots, but it's very dark wide shots. So a lot of it's very claustrophobic. Now I feel like that's for a reason, because of the tone of the season, maybe. But that'll be all spoken about. If I remember to, that'll all be spoken about when I actually go through those episodes in season 2, whenever that may come out. By the way, I hope you've really enjoyed these little talk arounds around the podcast, my little review of the podcast, and just kind of bringing you my favorite clips from it the favourite moments that they spoke about something, and also me being able to bring it to you and play you those clips. Yeah, I'm just thankful that I'm able to bring it to you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll pass you back now to Past Me. Thank you so much. Feel free, if you'd love to subscribe, you can subscribe, because, you know, I'm going to be having season 2 come out, which you don't have to wait long for season 2 of my reactions, because I am likely to be watching this soon after filming this. I don't know when they're going to be coming out to YouTube, but yeah, I'm likely to be watching them soon after watching this. Today's video sponsor, Surfshark VPN. They have come massively in handy, because watching things like Disney Plus, Netflix, and that wouldn't be the same, because with Surfshark VPN, I'm able to get access to content, to films, to shows from other countries that I just would not be able to. I'd used them before. I really trust what they do. All you need to do is, once you've signed up for Surfshark VPN, then go and download the browser extension. And then you just need to switch your location to any of the countries around the world that are on the list. Also, hide your location and your data as well. Will also come in handy for public Wi-Fi, because companies and individuals can easily find your information. But don't worry, Surfshark does protect all your information by encrypting it and masking what you do and where you do it from. If there is a data breach and your data does fall into the wrong hands, Surfshark will warn you and protect you. You guys know how much research I do into films and shows when I watch them, and for the trivia sections afterwards, and just looking up information and that. It really helps. If you'd like to try out Surfshark VPN for yourselves, you can do with the code MoviesWithMarty to get up to 87% off, making it less than £2 or just over $2, which is a coffee-priced offer for a premium VPN. Plus, you get 4 months for free, a money-back guarantee, and 24/7 support too. Thank you so much to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video, and also thank you to you guys for checking out Surfshark today. Feel free to, if you want to check out the full uncut reactions to this or any other episode, or potentially, by the time this comes out, some of season 2, or if not all of season 2, should potentially, maybe, be out on Patreon and YouTube members as well. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. If you're still here to the very end, then thank you so much, and also a huge thank you to my wonderful patrons: Roger C. Griffith, Douglas Collier, Terry V, Miggy Love, Chris Holmes, Jojo, Thomas Masters, Shoehorn1234, Res, Patrick Durr, Andrew Blount, Carlos, Marla Mize, Rob, Chandra Blair, Scott, Paul Zawicki, Randy, Kirsten, Juan Pablo Camero, JL, Maggie, Freya Alexandra, Milo, Miranda, Edna, Gina Aman, Tess Avaland, Olivia, Maria Stoicheva, Neno, Megan Janoviak, Rainy Tomo, Strawberry Tree, Kirsten Bailey, Boobly Boo, Louise Vanderhoven, Aubrey Terry, Wraithist, Heidi Steele, City D, Bumblebee, Joshua, Jesse, Rena Burra, Meet, Lolita Verbakovskia, Eli, Holly Jeffries, Alenka Hafner, HM Garth, Chloe Grover, Neb, Kyle Baker, Abby Barker, Tom Tattershall, Kristen Olds, Tillycham, Laura Hutchison, Tara M. Will Coxon, Sazzy Nation, Ferdinand Pitchard, Jim McKay, Sphere, Mel Days, Fran in the Pen, BG, Tara, Rags and Muffins, Nameless Human Being, Deb, Philippa Chapman, Emily, Panda, David Wayne Fox, Jessica Asakovich, Sue Pro, Naja and Workshop, Mike Tunnicliffe, Wolfgang Wolf, Lee, Harvey, Ankame, Aninya, Evan G, Violet Aurora, Pamela Chandler Rash, Scott Howard, Joshua, Robert Williams, Steve Webster, Amanda, Lipaz, Jamie Dodds, King, Happy Go Lucky, Caitlin, Analytical Guy, Maria Torres, Cliff Adams, Jonathan, Dirk, Annie Bonds, Crystal Appleby, Scorpius, Monica Murphy, Sebastien Saint-Ange, Varga, Leslie McKittrick, Nick Stark, Number 1 Carez, Jen, Biff McKeldin, Birgit, Stephanie Collins, Emily, Ken Duncan, Max, Helena Klitsch, Amy Quattlebaum, Ry Levi, Wayne DeFries, JJ, Mikhail Augustine Reed, Malcolm Hope, Lee Hallam, Bill Waite, Charlie Elkin, Mika Least, Jeffrey Welton, Alida Scope, George, Ingrid, Stephanie Sexton, Jude, Bera, Robinio GD, Catherine Ellis, Vincent Pare, Sammy Fan, Eric Jansen, David K, Stephen, Edcat, MB8, Border Collie Lover 223, Caitlin, Juiced, The Gallifreyan Rebel, James, Johnny115, Tim, Paul Hess, Frank Tex, Marie Clark, Robin, and Matt Quinn. If you'd like to see more videos, there's some more on the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and see you next time.